I want you to do a quick calculation with me. The average commercial gym membership costs roughly $50 per month. That's $600 per year. Over 10 years, $6,000. Plus the commute time. If you drive 15 minutes each way and train 4 times per week, that's over 250 hours of your life spent just getting to and from the gym over 10 years. Not training, just traveling. Now here's the question I want you to sit with for the next 12 minutes. What if everything that gym membership is supposed to give you, the strength, the muscle, the conditioning, the fat loss, the full body development, could be replaced by a single piece of equipment that costs between $80 and $150, fits in a corner of your bedroom, and never requires a commute? One kettlebell equals an entire gym. That's the claim, and today I'm proving it. Not with opinions, not with enthusiasm, with a systematic, category-by-category breakdown showing exactly what a gym provides and exactly how one kettlebell replicates each function. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to take every major category of gym equipment and show you the kettlebell equivalent. Not a compromise version, the actual equivalent. Some of these will surprise you. And at the end, I'll tell you the one honest exception, the single thing a gym does that one kettlebell genuinely cannot fully replicate. But first, I need to explain why most people who make this claim get it wrong. Because there's a right way and a wrong way to argue that one kettlebell replaces a gym, and the wrong way actually undermines the entire argument. Stay with me. Let's get into it. Why most people make this argument wrong. Here's the mistake most kettlebell advocates make when arguing that one bell replaces a gym. They compare a mediocre gym workout to an exceptional kettlebell workout. They show someone half-heartedly using machines and compare that to a perfectly executed kettlebell complex. This isn't a fair comparison, and it's intellectually dishonest. The right comparison is this: a well-designed, consistently executed gym program using appropriate equipment versus a well-designed, consistently executed kettlebell program using one bell. Same quality of programming, same level of effort, same consistency. Which produces better results per unit of time and cost invested? That's the comparison I'm making today. Not lazy gym versus amazing kettlebell. Serious gym versus serious kettlebell. Fair fight. Let's start breaking it down. The chest, what the gym gives you and what the kettlebell replaces it with. The gym's chest tools: bench press, flat, incline and decline. Cable flies. Chest press machine. Pec deck. Most people use 2 or 3 of these in a typical chest session. The goal is mechanical tension through the chest from multiple angles and ranges of motion. The kettlebell replacement, floor press. This is where it gets interesting. The kettlebell floor press, performed with 1 or 2 kettlebells, eliminates the ability to use excessive back arch, which actually forces more genuine chest engagement. The offset weight of the kettlebell creates rotational demand at the shoulder joint that a barbell never produces. Engaging stabilizes the bench press misses. Push-up progressions using the kettlebell handles as push-up bars create elevated range of motion beneath the handles, increasing the chest stretch at the bottom beyond what floor-level push-ups achieve. And the single-arm kettlebell floor press creates anti-rotation core demand that bilateral chest pressing never trains. Does this build as much maximum chest mass as a serious bench press program? Honestly, no, not quite. But for the vast majority of people's goals, which are functional strength, visible chest development, and shoulder health, the kettlebell approach is remarkably comparable and in some respects superior, particularly regarding shoulder joint health over time. The back, what the gym gives you and what the kettlebell replaces it with. The gym's back tools: lat pull-down machine, cable rows, barbell rows, T-bar rows, assisted pull-up machine, seated cable rows. Most back-focused gym sessions involve several of these in combination. The kettlebell replacement. Here's where one kettlebell actually has an advantage over the gym in some respects, which might seem counterintuitive. The single-arm kettlebell row, performed from a hinged position, trains your lat and rhomboid through a natural arc of motion that cable machines and fixed-path machines don't replicate. The offset weight creates additional rotational demand, meaning your core and the muscles around your spine are working harder than they would during a cable row with the same load. And the swing, which primarily targets your posterior chain, trains your lower back, glutes, and upper back simultaneously through an explosive, functional pattern that no machine replicates. For people who can perform pull-ups, doing them while gripping a kettlebell by the handle or using a kettlebell hung from a belt provides variable resistance and wrist rotation that straight bar pull-ups don't allow, often reducing elbow and wrist irritation for people who experience this with standard bars. The legs. What the gym gives you and what the kettlebell replaces it with. The gym's leg tools: leg press, hack squat, leg extension, leg curl, calf raise machine, hip thrust machine. Smith machine squats. This is often the largest collection of equipment in a commercial gym. There's a reason for this. Legs are large muscle groups requiring significant stimulus, and most people want comprehensive leg development. The kettlebell replacement. Here's where the honest conversation gets most interesting, because legs is genuinely the most complex comparison. The goblet squat with a kettlebell creates an anterior load that forces an upright torso position and deep knee bend, training the quads through a fuller range of motion than many people achieve with barbell back squats due to the postural cues the front load provides. The single leg work that becomes possible with a kettlebell: Bulgarian split squats holding the bell in goblet position, single leg deadlifts, pistol squat progressions, provides unilateral quad, glute, and hamstring development that bilateral machines simply don't train. The kettlebell swing, as we've discussed extensively, provides perhaps the most effective glute and hamstring development available through any single exercise. Romanian deadlifts with a kettlebell target hamstrings through a long loaded stretch that the leg curl machine mimics but doesn't achieve as naturally. And the lunge variations possible with a kettlebell: forward, reverse, lateral, walking, cover glute and quad development from multiple angles. What the kettlebell doesn't replicate as directly is isolated calf training and the very heavy quad loading possible on a leg press. For most people's goals, this isn't a significant limitation, but it's worth acknowledging honestly. The shoulders, what the gym gives you and what the kettlebell replaces it with. The gym's shoulder tools: shoulder press machine, cable lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises, face pulls, rear delt fly machine, front raises. Most shoulder programs combine several of these for what's called comprehensive deltoid development, hitting the front, middle, and rear heads separately. The kettlebell replacement. The single-arm kettlebell press is arguably the superior shoulder builder compared to any machine pressing option, for reasons that have nothing to do with load. The offset weight and single-arm nature require significantly more rotator cuff and scapular stabilizer engagement than any machine or even a standard dumbbell press. Your shoulder joint is building genuine stability, not just moving through a pressed path. The kettlebell clean, where you explosively bring the bell from hip to shoulder height, trains the lateral and rear portions of your shoulder dynamically in ways that no isolation machine replicates, since these muscles are responsible for controlling the bell's path during the movement. The Turkish get-up might be the most comprehensive shoulder stability exercise in existence, taking your shoulder through multiple positions under load across its entire range of motion. This produces shoulder resilience that years of machine training often fail to develop. The core and abs. What the gym gives you and what the kettlebell replaces it with. The gym's core tools: cable crunch machine, ab wheel, declined sit-up bench, captain's chair for leg raises, Roman chair for hyperextensions, various other ab-specific machines. Most gym ab training focuses heavily on flexion-based movements, essentially variations of the crunch or sit-up pattern. The kettlebell replacement. As we've discussed, kettlebell training primarily trains core stability rather than core flexion. This isn't a limitation, it's genuinely a superior approach to core training for most people's actual functional needs. The anti-rotation demand of the single-arm swing, the anti-extension demand of the overhead press, the comprehensive stability requirement of the Turkish get-up, the lateral stability demand of the suitcase carry. All of these train your core's actual primary function, which is to resist unwanted movement while force is being generated or transferred through your body. The research increasingly supports this type of core training as more functionally relevant than repeated spinal flexion against resistance. Cardiovascular equipment. What the gym gives you and what the kettlebell replaces it with. The gym's cardio tools: treadmill, stationary bike, elliptical, rowing machine, stairmaster. Most cardio equipment is designed to elevate heart rate and maintain that elevation for extended periods in a sustainable, steady-state manner. The kettlebell replacement. We've covered this extensively in previous discussions, so here's the concise version. Kettlebell swing protocols, particularly EMOM formats or high-rep continuous sets, elevate heart rate to comparable or higher levels than moderate cardiovascular equipment, while simultaneously providing strength and power stimulus that no cardio machine delivers. The metabolic demand, the caloric expenditure, and the cardiovascular adaptation potential from serious kettlebell interval work is at least comparable to steady-state cardio equipment and often superior for body composition purposes specifically. The honest exception. Here's the one thing I told you I'd be honest about. The one category where one kettlebell genuinely cannot fully replicate the gym: maximum absolute strength development. If your specific goal is to build the highest possible maximum strength on specific lifts, moving the greatest possible weight in a squat, deadlift, or bench press, you need progressively heavier loads than a single kettlebell provides. A 100-kilogram barbell squat provides a specific stimulus that a 24-kilogram kettlebell goblet squat, even with perfect technique, simply cannot replicate in terms of absolute loading. If competitive powerlifting, or maximizing your one-rep maximum on the barbell big three lifts, is your specific goal, you need a barbell. But here's the crucial qualifier. This exception applies to a small minority of fitness goals. The vast majority of people who are paying gym memberships and spending hours in commercial gyms are not pursuing competitive powerlifting or maximum absolute strength as their primary goal. They want to look better, feel better, be healthier, move better, have more energy, live longer. For all of these goals, one kettlebell is genuinely equivalent to, and in several important ways superior to, a full gym membership. The math that makes this undeniable. Let's return to where we started. $50 per month gym membership, $600 per year, plus 250 hours per decade in commute time. One quality kettlebell, $80 to $150. One-time purchase, lasts decades with zero maintenance, zero commute. Available at 5 a.m. or 11 p.m. Available in your backyard, your hotel room, your living room. No waiting for equipment. No other people's sweat on the handles. No parking. For goals that one kettlebell can genuinely address, which we've established is the vast majority of people's actual fitness goals, the return on investment of that single purchase compared to a decade of gym membership is genuinely staggering. Thousands of dollars saved, hundreds of hours returned. And here's perhaps the most underappreciated point of all this. Accessibility drives consistency. Consistency drives results. The best training program is the one you actually do, regularly, over months and years. A gym that requires effort to get to creates friction that compounds over time into missed sessions. A kettlebell that's available instantly, always, with no friction whatsoever, enables consistency that the gym fundamentally cannot. The actual protocol that proves the equivalency. Here's a complete 6-day-per-week kettlebell program, using one bell that covers every major movement pattern a comprehensive gym program would address. Monday, pushing and core. Kettlebell floor press, 4 sets of 8 to 10 per arm. Push-up variations using the handle, 3 sets to near failure. Turkish get-up, 3 sets of 3 per side. Tuesday, pulling and posterior chain. Single-arm kettlebell rows, 4 sets of 10 to 12 per arm. Kettlebell swings, 5 sets of 15 to 20. Single-leg kettlebell deadlifts, 3 sets of 8 per leg. Wednesday, legs and carries. Goblet squats, 4 sets of 12 to 15. Bulgarian split squats holding the bell, 3 sets of 10 per leg. Kettlebell farmer's carry, 3 sets of 60 seconds. Thursday, shoulders and power. Single-arm kettlebell press, 4 sets of 6 to 8 per arm. Kettlebell cleans, 4 sets of 5 per arm. Halo rotations, 3 sets of 10 per direction. Friday, full body complex, 1 exercise, 5 movement complex repeated for rounds. Clean, squat, press, row, swing. 5 rounds of 5 reps each movement. Rest 60 seconds between rounds. Saturday, conditioning and recovery. Kettlebell swings for 20 minutes using an EMOM format. 15 swings per minute. Sunday, complete rest. This 6-day structure covers chest, back, legs, shoulders, core, and cardiovascular conditioning every week. Every major movement pattern, every major muscle group. One kettlebell, no gym, no commute, no membership fee, your action plan. Here's what I want you to do. If you currently have a gym membership, calculate your actual annual cost, including membership, fuel, and time at your personal hourly rate. Then compare that to the cost of one quality kettlebell. Then ask yourself this honest question: are my specific fitness goals ones that require a gym? Meaning, am I specifically pursuing competitive powerlifting or maximum absolute strength on barbell movements? Or are my goals things like looking better, feeling better, being healthier, moving better, and having more energy? If it's the latter, which it is for the vast majority of people, you have everything you need to make an informed decision about whether that ongoing gym investment is genuinely the best use of your money and your time. If you've made the switch from gym to one kettlebell, drop a comment sharing how long ago you made that decision and whether you regret it. Based on what I've seen across many people's experiences with this, the answer is overwhelmingly predictable. And it's the same answer I would give you. And if you want the complete 12-week program built around this one kettlebell protocol, with progressive overload built in week by week, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. One kettlebell equals an entire gym. Category by category, the case is genuine. The chest work, back development, leg training, shoulder building, core stability, and cardiovascular conditioning that a gym membership is supposed to provide, all of it is achievable with one kettlebell, a solid program, and the consistency that comes from having your gym available everywhere you go, always with zero friction. The honest exception exists. Maximum absolute strength development requires heavier loads than one kettlebell provides. But for every other goal, for the vast majority of people's actual fitness objectives, one kettlebell is genuinely equivalent to, and in several ways superior to, everything behind those gym doors. I'll see you in the next video. Now go cancel that membership, or at least ask yourself whether you should.